Few leaders in modern history have lived long enough to rise, fall, and rise again, and fewer still have reshaped a nation each time they return. Mahathir Mohamad was not born into power, nor groomed by an empire. He was a small-town doctor who believed that weakness was a choice and dependence a disease. From the moment he entered Malaysian politics, Mahathir challenged colonial legacies, Western dominance, and even his own party's elders, earning enemies as quickly as he gained followers. As Prime Minister, he transformed Malaysia from an agricultural economy into an industrial state of highways, skyscrapers, and national ambition. Yet, his iron-fisted rule silenced critics, bent institutions, and divided the country. To some, he is the architect of modern Malaysia. To others, a strongman who sacrificed democracy for development. And just when history seemed to close his chapter, Mahathir returned at the age of 92 to defeat his former protege and reclaim power, stunning the world and rewriting political limits. This documentary explores the full story of Mahathir Mohamad, not as a saint or a villain, but as a paradox, a leader whose vision built a nation, whose methods haunted it, and whose legacy still shapes Malaysia's future today. Early life and political rise. Mahathir Mohamad was born in 1925 in Kaya, a rural state of British Malaya, into a modest Malay family where discipline, education, and self-reliance were deeply valued. Unlike the political elite shaped by colonial privilege, Mahathir experienced poverty and competition firsthand, which later fueled his belief that Malays needed strong leadership to survive in a modern world. Trained as a medical doctor, he worked closely with ordinary people, witnessing inequality, not as theory, but as daily reality. Politics gradually became his prescription for national reform. Joining UMNO, Mahathir quickly developed a reputation as a sharp critic, unafraid to challenge party leadership. Ibn Malaysia, as founding prime minister. His controversial book, The Malay Dilemma, argued that Malays were economically disadvantaged and needed state support, a view that would define his ideology for decades. Though expelled from UMNO for his blunt criticism, Mahathir did not retreat. Instead, he refined his vision. When political winds shifted, he returned stronger, positioning himself as a nationalist reformer ready to reshape Malaysia's destiny. His rise was not smooth, but it was relentless. First term as Prime Minister 1981 to 2003. When Mahathir became Prime Minister in 1981, Malaysia stood at a crossroads, economically dependent, politically cautious, and uncertain of its global identity. Mahathir chose ambition over caution. He launched an aggressive modernization drive, pushing Malaysia from agriculture toward heavy industry and manufacturing. Massive infrastructure projects reshaped the nation. Highways connected regions, factories created jobs, and Kuala Lumpur transformed into a symbol of national confidence, crowned by the Petronas Twin Towers. His Look East policy rejected blind Western imitation, urging Malaysians to learn discipline and efficiency from Japan and South Korea. Under Mahathir, the state played a strong role in guiding development, protecting local industries while encouraging foreign investment. Supporters credit him with creating a confident, middle-income Malaysia and reducing poverty. Critics argue that growth came at the cost of transparency and accountability. Yet there is no denying that Mahathir's first tenure permanently altered Malaysia's economic landscape itself, turning a post-colonial state into an emerging Asian power. Returned to power at 92 in one of the most astonishing political comebacks in history. Mahathir returned to power in 2018 at the age of 92, aligning with former enemies including Anwar Ibrahim. He led an opposition coalition against Najib Razak, whose government was engulfed in the 1MDB corruption scandal. Against all expectations, Mahathir won. The world watched in disbelief as the oldest elected prime minister took office, promising reform, accountability, and a new political era. For many Malaysians, this victory symbolized hope and democratic awakening. For Mahathir, it was unfinished business, an attempt to correct the system he once controlled. His return redefined political possibility, proving that age was no barrier to leadership and that power could still be challenged through the ballot box. Second-term challenges and the resignation. Mahathir's second term, however, was far more difficult than his first. Leading a fragile coalition of rivals and reformists, he struggled to balance old instincts with new promises. Institutional reforms moved slowly, public patience thinned, and internal betrayals weakened the government. The alliance fractured, collapsing under political maneuvering in 2020. Mahathir resigned, ending his final chapter in power, not with triumph, but turbulence. Critics argued he failed to dismantle the very system he once built. Supporters believed he was undermined by opportunists. His second tenure revealed the limits of legacy leadership in a changed political landscape. Yet even in exit, Mahathir remains central proof that his influence could not simply be erased. Global influence beyond Malaysia, Mahathir became a powerful voice for the developing world. He openly criticized Western dominance, globalization, and double standards in international politics. Admired by many Muslim and Asian nations, he championed self-reliance, sovereignty, and national pride. His blunt speeches at global forums earned both applause and condemnation. While Western leaders often viewed him as confrontational, many post-colonial states saw him as courageous. Mahathir positioned Malaysia as independent, not aligned blindly with any global power. His international persona mirrored his domestic rule. Confident, controversial, and unapologetic. Legacy hero or autocrat. Mahathir Mohamad's legacy defies simple labels. He built highways and industries, but also centralized power. He inspired national confidence, yet limited political freedoms. To supporters, he is the father of modern Malaysia. To critics, a leader who delayed democratic maturity. Perhaps the truth lies in between. Mahathir was a product of his time and a force that shaped it. His choices lifted millions while constraining institutions. History will not judge him gently or harshly alone, but honestly. Mahathir Mohamad's story does not end with his resignation, because nations do not outgrow the leaders who shape their foundations. He was a man of towering will who dared to dream beyond colonial limits, who built roads where doubts once stood, and who taught Malaysia to believe in its own strength. Yet the same hands that constructed progress also tightened control, reminding us that power, when held too long, leaves lasting shadows. Mahathir was neither purely a hero nor simply an autocrat. He was a force of history, complex, commanding, and deeply human. His legacy lives in Malaysia's skyline, its politics, and its unresolved debates about freedom and authority. As the country moves forward, one question remains. Was Mahathir the leader Malaysia needed then, or the one it must now move beyond? The answer, like his life, lies somewhere between admiration and accountability, and that tension is the true measure of his impact.